Hello everyone, Basic Ollie here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another GT Sport video. Quite a controversial opinion, this of mine. I don't actually believe Spa on this game is any good whatsoever unless you use a specific setting on the track. And that specific setting is that you do not use rolling starts. Okay, rolling starts on this game are terrible. They're no good, and I think people will agree with me on this one. It needs to be side by side or just closer because it's far too far away. I'm going to give you a prime example of what that causes on this game, particularly around this track. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens if you qualify high and what happens if you start at the back. So let's crack on with the video. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you guys enjoy this one. Okay then, boys and girls, so for the first race here, we're going to be starting from the very back at Spa. Just kind of emphasise my point here of what the issue is if you choose to have a rolling start on this game and you start near the back. Now, I know a lot of you will say, oh well, you can just jump into qualifying, you could be higher up the front and maybe you could do something there, but the problem is all across the field. Okay, so if you start in the top three, it seems to be fine, but if you drop anyone any lower than that, you will start either before the bus stop chicane or you'll start on the chicane, and you've got such a massive disadvantage compared to the top three. And the problem is that for your casual player, he will then have to grind, he or she will have to then grind out a good time based on, you know, if they're A or B or C or whatever rank you are. You'll have to grind that time out to try and get in the top three. And your casual player normally doesn't have that kind of time to do that. So every time they enter Daily Race B this week, more than likely they're going to be starting in the back, and that's no fun for anyone. But you want to be near the front as always. You know, you want to be fighting for wins, podiums, even if you're starting in the back, really, because this is the way it's going. The game is quite casual. It's more for the casual player, I would say, in my honest opinion. Like Daily Race B, you know, for your more serious players, you'll do FIA Nations, and you know, you'll turn it up a notch, in my honest opinion, anyways. But these daily races, they have to accommodate for the person who just, you know, jumps on once or twice a week, you know, does 1 or 2 races a week, because they don't have the time. They enjoy the game, but they don't have that kind of time to, you know, really get their head down, practice, really improving their qualifying times. They just want to jump on and have a bit of fun, but they can't really do that, I don't feel, with this daily race B conversation. We get really close to the village race there, really close, nearly go right up the back of him there, straight into his rear bumper. But yeah, for me, the casual player doesn't quite work out, because you're gonna have the players that basically just own Gran Turismo. It's the only thing they play. Pretty much like myself, I don't really play anything else apart from this in iRacing. So I'm gonna know straight away, as soon as this race comes up, I know I'm gonna have to qualify if I want to get any sort of decent result. And I only started at the back here to kind of emphasise my point, because as we cross the line, before we even started technically this race for us, this guy goes wide, unfortunately. Managed to take advantage of him there, of him going wide, and that puts us up to P15 as we get one place done early doors, which is good to see. But yeah, as we crossed the line, we were already 14.5 seconds behind the leader. 14.5 seconds. How can we possibly be 14.5 seconds behind the leader if we've not even done one corner yet? Just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, as we skip ahead to lap 2, as we've gone through Rouge and Radion and going through the first major breaking point here, a lot of people will make their voices heard and their opinions, but they won't give solutions. So I will try and do my best here to try and give some sort of solution as to what we can do potentially to improve Gran Turismo Sport. Now, I know Gran Turismo Sport is very late in its life cycle. The game's basically been out for, I think it's about 3.5 years now. And there's not really any money being pumped into this game anymore. It's only through sales, and the game's 3.5 years old, so those sales aren't really coming through. These are more your committed players at the moment. As we go side by side with BJ through the same corner. Now we go side by side, put him under a little bit of pressure, making sure that he has to give us room, and by doing that, it actually forces him wide, and he does just lose the rear end of the Jag. And thankfully, due to that, and putting ourselves in that awkward position, he manages to run wide once more, and we managed to move ourselves up to P14. But as I was saying, there's not much money being pumped into this game, so as a developer or as someone who's looking to make GT7 like they are now, which has just been delayed or announced recently that's going to be delayed till 2022, why bother touching this game? Why bother doing it? Well, I think it's important to keep that fan base and make people excited for GT7, because I feel as if you abandon this game, and just, you know, you just leave it as it is, it's still going to put people off and it's not going to get people as excited. So I think if you constantly fix or just do little adjustments, because they don't have to do much. I mean, how hard is it just to make sure that the rolling starts, the cars are side by side? Because that's what I think. That's what I think this game needs. I think to fix it, if you're going to do rolling starts, please let me know in the comments if you disagree with me in this one, because I think it's the best way to go around it. Make it so the rolling starts are either a lot closer, I mean like by half distance at least, even just a car's length difference between each car, that's fine, or make them side by side. They do it in iRacing, they do it on ACC, they do it in all of these other racing games. Why can't we have it on this game? The gap's far too big, and it gets really exposed on tracks like this on Spa. So that's what I think they should do. But again, like I said earlier, the problem is that the developers don't have any money going into this game anymore. So why would they bother doing it? What do they get out of it? I just think it's important because you want to keep those people on board. You want to keep those fans on board. If you just abandon it, I think you'll affect your pre-orders of Gran Turismo 7 personally. So that's why I think it's worth it in the long run, and why I think they should make these changes still. I mean, listen, GT7's not coming out till next year now. We know that. They've announced it. So you need to keep your fans on board, personally, in my opinion, and you can't just abandon it. As that guy, unfortunately, up ahead just abandoned the circuit, and so's the German there. That's rather unfortunate for him there. But yeah, that's how I feel. Again, if you feel any different, please let me know in the comments. As always, we'll have a discussion in the comments. This Brit goes a little wide here in the Peugeot RCZ. A little surprising, really. It was surprising to me anyways to see there's quite a few people in the RCZs and on the qualifying times as well, I believe. But ever since the BOP update, where they nerfed the FF cars finally, I haven't really seen many FF cars, so it was a bit strange to see someone pick the Peugeot, to be honest. It wasn't really something I was expecting, just like this Hyundai in front of me that Charlie 8 has picked. I really wasn't expecting that as well. Brave man Charlie, for picking the Hyundai Genesis. Cool car, cool manufacturer to go with as well for the FIA season, I think, personally. But yeah, for me, I think something needs to be done still. It's a little fix that can be applied to this game. I don't think it's hard, is it? It can't be hard to just even like this side by side as we go through this left-hander here, as we make the move down. So we just managed to get P11 just before we go through the bus stop chicane. So we get to P11, but how hard is it really to make the cars either side by side or just a lot shorter in length? It can't be difficult, can it? It can't take up so many resources. I know all the resources we concentrate on Gran Turismo 7 right now, but yeah, as I keep saying, I think you need to keep this fan base alive. You need to keep people coming, hardcore GT Sport or Gran Turismo fans. You need to keep them coming, and you know, you've got to make them think as if this game's still really good and there's high hopes for GT7. Because if you abandon it now and you don't do any updates, people aren't just going to be that bothered about it, and you'll affect the sales, I think, personally. But anyways, first race done then. So we managed to move up 5 positions in the end in those 3 laps, but you can see 2 of them really were from people taking each other out. So in reality, we only really gained a position a lap, and we started at back, and I'd expect, if I'm being completely honest, I'd expect better of myself. I would want to do better, but again, for the casual player, it just wouldn't happen, would it? You'd just be so stuck. It'd be frustrating hell. But anyways, that's my opinion on the rolling start. Let's skip ahead to race 2 then, and I'll try and get my point across again, exactly what the issue is if you start near the front. So for this race then, I decided to do a little bit of qualifying beforehand. I managed to set myself a 225.8, I believe, and that starts me in P3 or P4, P3. So yeah, 225.852, I believe at the time. It's about 3/10 off a top 10 time. So pretty handy. I was very surprised to see that there's actually 2 Spaniards in front of me with faster times. One in the McLaren 650S and one in the Jaguar F-Type. I think the Jaguar F-Type is just ever so slightly faster than any other car here, but I personally, it's all down to preference, I think the McLaren is the one to use. So this is going to go back to my point I was saying at the start of the video, the distance. So as you can see, I'm starting in P3 here. The gap between P1 and P2 and myself is massive already. It's far, far too big, but you can already see, as we're about to look behind, I believe, you're going to see the gap. Oh no, I'm actually not going to look behind. Why did I not do that? But yeah, the gap, I'll emphasise in the corner, is a second. It's a second between myself and P4, and that was before we even turned one corner. as we go through the source and then down the hill, getting ourselves for a Rouge and Radion here, turns 3, 4 and 5, but a second's far too big, isn't it? So even further up the field here, you're going to have issues, but in P4 it's even worse, to be honest. I think starting on the chicane is just no good, and it's just going to cause you to be, well, just be nowhere near the top 3. As you can see, look, the gap there is just massive. Now, because of the gap, we're going to have to really concentrate here as we go through turn 7, 8, and then take the right hand at turn 9 here, getting ready for that downhill hard braking zone to turn 8. I think, is it Bruxelles? You have to apologise, you have to excuse me, I'm not quite sure on the names, but yeah, we're going to have to really get our heads down here to try and catch up these two Spaniards in front of us. Very, very quick qualifying time, so if we are going to catch them, we're going to have to really be on top of our game here as we go for Puon, turn 12. I'm probably absolutely rinsing these names here. I do apologise. I'm not very good at the track names. Puon, isn't it? It is Puon, isn't it? It's got to be. Yes, it is. Turn 12, Puon, yes. Okay, turn 13 then. You've got to really hit the inside of the apex. Keep the 2 wheels on the curb at all times there, I feel. I go horrendously wide through turn 13. Turn 14 is a little bit better. And yeah, turn 15 here, braking as the curb appears on the left-hand side. Hitting the apex on the inside of the corner. As you exit the corner, 2 wheels on the massive curbs here at Spa. They just seem absolutely massive as we get ourselves prepared for turn 17 and turn 18. Turn 17 here is a bit of a nothing corner, isn't it, really? It doesn't, you say it's a corner, but I don't know, any car that has to slow down really to go through there. Turn 18, yeah, you definitely have to slow down sometimes to get that. As a Spaniard in front of me here, kind of emphasises the point there, he had too much of the slipstream of his fellow, I don't want to say comrade, I don't know, but yeah, of the fellow countryman. There you go, fellow countryman. So yeah, he took too much slipstream, he just went wide. I'm surprised he didn't get a penalty for that, actually, to be honest with you. Turn 19 and 20 done. Absolute pain in the bottom to get right, and then back onto turn 1, braking just after the 100-metre board on the left-hand side. I think he took too much of the sausage curb as we go through this one here. Turn 2, actually, this is technically a turn here. Again, surprising, I didn't think you'd really class that as turn 2 anyways. Turns 3, 4 and 5, they need no explanation or, description. We know how good that corner is. Probably the most famous set of corners in the world, or any game, really. Everyone knows those 3 corners. There's no doubt about that. But we get a lovely slipstream on the back of the Spaniard here. We managed to really catch up with him here. So we go side by side after the Camel Straight, going through turn 7, then 8, and then we've got the inside of turn 9 once more. Unfortunately, just had to give him the room, causing me to go on the inside and up on the curbs, and I hit those stupid green bollards, or whatever you want to call them. And yeah, it just slowed me down, made the car a little bit unbalanced. Unfortunately, I've had to abandon getting that P2 position, but we'll crack on, we'll get our heads down, let's see if we can potentially get that position back. It was really good, clean fighting through those set of corners, so big shout out to this guy, GTM Ambassadom 00. Good racing, mate, in the McLaren 650S. I always seem to be, as we go through turn 12, I always seem to brake a little bit earlier than most through there. I think it's just easier for me personally. I'd rather not run the risk of running too wide, because you'll just go on for days and days if you run wide at turn 12. It's such a large runoff area, and you're taking so much speed into the corner, you'll just never be able to slow down and get back on the circuit, it seems. But yeah, we seem to we go through turn 15 once more. Again, almost 4 wheels on that curb. That's how big and chunky these curbs are, or how they feel in this game. But yeah, we've got a bit of relief here because it's a nice long straight, so we can use the maximum suction, shall we say, of the slipstream behind the Spaniard here. But we've got to play this smart. Okay, so if we go for this move now, it means when we start on lap 3, he will have the pace on us going through radial no rouge. So you can see here, I decided to go to the left-hand side, and I decided to brake a little bit earlier because there was just no point going for the move there because he'll just get me back on the big long straight. So through turn 19 and 20, decided to just back off, stick behind him, get myself a nice clean exit through turn 1 here. Incredibly difficult corner to actually get right because you've got to get as close to the inside of that wall as you can, and honestly it's a bit scary every time you go through it because you feel like you're going to clip the wall, so you could sometimes flinch and turn left, and then you lose your momentum, and it's kind of almost, well, not the lap gone because it's a long lap, but you suffer so much time go over here. But yeah, so we're going up Eau Rouge and Rayon once more. Much smoother exit on that corner compared to the Spaniard in front of us. So we get the slipstream, we've played it smart, we're going to go side by side. We have to time this perfectly. So we basically need to get a car's width or length in front of the Spaniard here. We just about do that, I believe, if you're looking at the radar, and we just break in front of him here as well. We actually go purple through that sector as well. So the slipstream coming in absolute clutch there. Now we're just going to have to see if the Spaniard in front of us makes any mistakes, and maybe we can gobble him up and maybe sneak that P1. But we managed to get ourselves up to P2, which is what I'm quite content with and quite pleased with, considering the gap at the start of the race. It was about a second. I think at one point it was like 1.3 or 1.4 seconds behind the Spaniard here. And thankfully, just through to clean, consistent driving, we managed to get ourselves back up to P2. But P2 I will certainly take. 2.1 seconds off the leader, not too shabby. Almost go wide there. You see, we were close there. Far too close. I haven't learned my lesson. I should have broke earlier than that, I believe. It's probably the fastest line there, to be fair, but yeah, still not hitting the apex in that corner as well, actually. Turn 13. I need to do better than that. Turn 14 is much better. Let's see what we can do from turn 15 as well. Yeah, okay, maybe not. I think I needed to go wider on the end to give myself open the corner up for turn 15. That might have helped me out a little bit. Well, we go purple through the corner though, but maybe we could just get a purple time. But I think the Spaniard is going quicker than us since we crossed the line. I believe his time has grown, so there's no way we're going to be able to set the fastest lap. But you can see the Spaniard behind me here. He's very close, so we're going to have to go on defensive. We're going to have to keep that inside line, just make it as awkward as I can for him as we go and prepare ourselves for turn 19 and 20. We're going to go side by side, but all I have to do is make sure that we outbrake him here. He just turns in too quickly, looking for the apex of the corner when my car's already there. Thankfully, it's not real life, because he would have taken both of us out there. Fortunately, it's just Gran Turismo Sport, and we managed to cross the line and get a P2 there. Quite happy, but at the end of the day, it does emphasise my point, because the race was only 7 minutes and 22 seconds long. So my other point on this race as well is that I do believe it should be at least 4 or 5 minutes, because if there's only one race every 30 minutes for Daily Race B, you can't have it. It's only 7 minutes. I mean, come on. I think that's just silly. That's just silly from me, I think, 7.5 minutes. But yeah, again, guys, let me know in the comments. This is just more constructive criticism. I don't want to bash the game, I always say that, because I absolutely adore this game, but these are just things I think that could be improved. Nice and easy things. But this is mainly the issue with Daily Race B. Fingers crossed though, guys, you did enjoy this video, and yeah, you understand my frustrations and what I'm trying to say, and yeah, fingers crossed. Maybe, just maybe, someone's watching and maybe they'll make the difference, the changes that we want. But yeah, fingers crossed, guys, you enjoyed this one. If you did, as always, please leave a like. Hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. We're aiming for 20k subs now, and I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Have a good one. Ta-da.